In October 1956, the Hungarians had risen in a huge revolution against their Soviet puppet government in Budapest and its hardline Soviet policies. The government collapsed, and the Soviets invaded to put down the revolution. Between 2,500 and 3,000 Hungarians died, and over 700 Soviet and Communist Hungarian security forces. The 23rd of October is now a national holiday in Hungary. In 2006, around the 50th anniversary of the revolution, violence broke out again across the country as protesters demonstrated against the government of the Prime Minister, the first big protests in Hungary since the end of the Hungarian People's Republic in 1989. Because the 23rd of October was the anniversary of the 1956 revolution, some street exhibitions had been organized in Budapest, including the display of a World War II-era Soviet T-34 85 tank from one of the museums. The vehicle had been properly maintained and was fueled, but the organizers had removed the vehicle's battery, which, as far as they were concerned, would have rendered it immobile. During the rioting, some protesters decided to steal the T-34 and use it to charge the riot police, who had been firing rubber bullets and tear gas at them. But the T-34 was immobilized, wasn't it? Well, not quite. One of the protesters was a 70-year-old former Hungarian army tank driver who trained on the T-34 in his youth. He knew that there was another way to start this model of tank without the battery. The T-34 doesn't necessarily require electricity to start its diesel engine, as it's equipped with an emergency pressurized air starter for just such an eventuality. The 70-year-old former army driver took control of the tank, he said, to prevent young, inexperienced protesters from driving it and hurting bystanders. The tank is an unwieldy animal, as the driver only has limited vision and would normally rely on the commander in the turret giving him directions through the tank's intercom system. The pensioner drove the tank about 300 feet or 100 meters through the crowd. He then abandoned it as he feared he would run somebody over, as the crowd was fairly wild and disordered. Once the tank was abandoned, Hungarian riot police fired lots of tear gas at it and then charged it to force protesters away from the vehicle. The driver was arrested by the police the next day, but released without charge after an investigation. Undoubtedly, the police were just relieved that the driver had decided to flee, as stopping a charging T-34 with rubber bullets would have been an interesting prospect. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe and share, and also help support my channel at PayPal and Patreon. Details in the description box below.